Get Warrior Tough, Mental Training 101 with Andrew Wittman and Dutch Coleman. And now back to Andrew and Dutch.
All right, back in the saddle. Dutch and Andrew, Andrew and Dutch. Hashtag Get Warrior Tough on the Twitter. Dutch is at Dutch Coleman. I'm at Warrior Tough PhD. We're talking about hiring veterans and D1 athletes, saving yourself the hassle, the money, and the headaches and the resources to train people with soft skills, because these folks already have them. They've been trained and tested some more. Now, I'm not saying they have mastered these skills. There are always people that haven't mastered it. Mastery is a life's journey, but I'm telling you, they've been trained these skills and they've been tested in these skills.
Mm-hmm. It's not foreign. It's not something that's brand new. It's not something that you have to spin out. We talk about ground zero. Now, I believe everyone should go through that ground zero that we do. It's just a process that no matter who you are, you should embark upon that. But there are going to be spots within that process that they're going to take hold of easier, quicker, with more. It's going to be a lot smoother because they've seen certain things, they've been there, and it's going to save a lot of time, a lot of money, it's a lot of heartache, and you're gonna see the transition and how everything takes hold a lot quicker with these types of folks. That's what we're saying. We're not saying they're perfect. We're not saying they're already there. But there are going to be a lot of spots.
Yeah, and a lot further ahead. Absolutely. So the first one I want to talk about is unit cohesion, Dutch. Unit cohesion. Now, this goes way beyond just being a team player, right? So you're like, oh, they're a team player. No, this is, and this happens, you can understand this in the locker room. I understand it in, in our team environment, our unit environment, but it's the bonding together of team or unit members in such a way that it sustains their will and their commitment, not only to the mission at hand and the organization, but to each other in the middle of the obstacles, the adversity, and the stress. I mean, I'm going to pick you up and I got your back no matter what the stress is, even if I don't like you.
One of the biggest things that you see with employees and the employee mentality and not ever being truly a part of a unit is that employee shows up and it's all about that check.
Yep.
It is all about that short-term goal. And the short-term goals are fine, as we should all have goals, but then that, sometimes those short-term goals with the average person is limited to just that short-term goal. There's no long-term, there's no medium-term, and there's no larger vision. And there's no overall mission associated with it. We know with military, we know with former athletes, there have been missions. They have had to commit themselves to something larger than themselves,
right.
and along with other people beside them, where they had to be counted on for other people to have success, right?
Right.
And you have a lot of average minded people and a lot of people who don't have those soft skills, that never been introduced to it. They've only been in environments where it's all about them, and it's all about their short-term goal, just knocking that task out, and that's all they've been really exposed to. So you're talking about jumping ahead, where you have somebody who can look at the company mission, the company vision, and know what it's like to commit to that and not just themselves.
And to each other. Like, you're not going to hear these folks say, that ain't in my job description. I don't get paid enough for that. Right? Like, you're not going to hear that, because the second that they did that, they lost their scholarship and they're off the team, or, you're looking at a, bad conduct discharge from the military. Like, we can't have it. Okay, so, and this, I don't want to understate this. This unit cohesion thing is huge. It is huge. And if you have not been in a part of a team or part of a unit where your livelihood really depends on somebody else looking out for you, looking out for each other. I like to use the Spartans in our, remember the movie The 300, where the guy with the shield, the shield in the left hand is protecting the person on your left, right? And then the spear in the right hand is protecting you and the person on your right. And then that's why, remember that one guy, he couldn't lift his shield up, so he couldn't be part of the unit, right? And that's really, this is the mindset. Yeah, we go into companies all the time, Dutch, and the people, like, they're not interested in fact, there's so much backbiting and stuff going on, and it's just about getting the check. And you know what, Dutch? I got to say this, because it starts at the top.
At the top.
Travis and Uber. If you're running roughshod over your people and you don't care I mean, you're so disruptive on everything. You're unrestrained. That's why you got all this nonsense going on, is because you have started it from the top, right? And then it just rolls right down. And then you can't figure out why talent is leaving, why you can't get talent back, and why your stuff is just in a death spiral.
Absolutely. And then they wonder why they're on the cover of newspapers everywhere, and they're getting embarrassed, and they're looking at their employees when they really need to be looking in the mirror at themselves.
Yeah, that video of him, that's just really what kicked off this whole thing. So the CEO, Travis, I don't know how to say his last name, starts with a K, but he has a video. He's in a car with one of his Uber drivers, and he starts cussing him out. And it's all the Uber driver's fault. I was like, dude, I wouldn't want to work for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then Unico, why are we looking out for each other? You set an entire culture up to be cutthroat, backstabbing, crawl all over each other to get to the top, and it doesn't matter, who we hurt to get there.
Absolutely. Talking about adversity and stress. I mean, that didn't go well.
No. No. So you would have done well. That's what this article is all about. You would have done well and do yourself a service to put a bunch of veterans, and D1 athletes in your leadership positions and fill your ranks with those folks. And it might have an effect on your culture. But you got to buy in, man. You got to buy
in.
Absolutely. I was talking to – go ahead.
I was going to say, in our meeting with Clemson this past week, we were talking about how those skills are completely transferable, all over the place, in all aspects of the lives of these individuals, military and former military and D1 athletes, former D1 athletes. It's definitely transferable. So when we think about these kids and these kids as just these athletes that are performing this skill, and we think about our military as just these gunslingers, man, we're disrespecting them.
Yeah.
We're disrespecting all the work that they've done, all the preparation. If they've never slang a gun one time and they never had to fire their pistol, man, they're still the same, super trained machine in all aspects outside of the weapon. That includes the weapon. So we so often overlook that and just look at them as these gunslingers.
No, I'm with you, man. And I was talking to a CEO who wanted me to come in. They wanted us to come in. They are using, because the buzzword now is I want extreme ownership. I want our people to take ownership of their stuff. I'm like, oh, what does that mean, man? You tell me, what does that mean? Does that, you want them to own, but what are you? Is your is the C-suite, you the CEO, is the CFO, is the COO, is the vice president and the executive VP? Are you guys taking extreme ownership? Are you, you could have me. I said, listen, I told them, don't waste your money bringing me in unless you're all willing to bring it down from the top. Don't even waste your money, man. Don't wait. Because if you're just looking to make the noise stop and you think this training is for somebody else, don't waste your money, man.
Yeah. And, and if that offends you, if you're listening, then you're probably one of the people that need it most. I mean, you should be motivated. You should be getting wound up when you hear this, man, ready to go, ready to dial our number, get on the website. Like, man, how can I be a part of this? Because you think about it, man, if you want your people to be doubting, you already assume you're doubting because you own it. You own the company, you're investing in all that, but there's another level of this, man. And if you want other people to respond a certain way, you got to show them how. There's no better way than to show someone.
Model it. Model that behavior. I mean, lead from the front. Well, that's another thing that veterans and D1 athletes do. We lead from the front. Okay. Yeah, and I know that's not really a good sales pitch, right? Don't waste your money, man. If you're not gonna commit. But you know what? We've done job. Listen, Dutch, you and I have gone into organizations, and it was a disaster for everybody. Us, them, everybody. Keep your money. I don't need it. I don't need the headache if you're not going to buy in. If you're just going to fight and push back, or you just think this is for everybody else and you think it's going to change, all you want is the noise to stop. Because, see, that's what I really believe, that Travis at Uber, he just wants the noise to stop because he keeps getting caught in this loop. And every time he does, he's like, oh, I'm really changing this time, guys. He's like, has the teary thing. Reminds me of like Jimmy Swaggart when he got caught with the prostitute. Lord, I have sinned. While he's crying, boo-hoo, and 3 months later, he's back in the pulpit. Give me a break. All right, enough on that rant. All right, balanced business objectives. I know, right? Balanced business objectives. All right, so this is what happens. The veterans equally embrace two crucial business priorities: mission accomplishment and troop welfare. Mission accomplishment and troop welfare. Because we know that the only way the mission gets accomplished is by the troops. So if you don't take care of your troops, the mission ain't going to get accomplished. But see, most cultures, it's mission accomplished, bottom line, bottom line. They'll run roughshod over all their employees. And you know what? If you put a veteran or a D1 athlete in a leadership position, it's this part of their DNA. They know that they have to accomplish the task, but they also have to take care of their people. They know that those two things are symbiotic.
Yeah, absolutely. That quarterback knows that he needs that receiver in a certain spot at a certain time. He knows he has to massage that person's, whether it's massaging their ego, whether it's helping them get prepared, whether it's getting there early to work with them, staying later to work with them. You know, they're willing to do what it takes. So we talk about what your military.
Dutch, they buy Porsches for their offensive line.
Yeah. Which might in the business world might relate to lunch.
Yeah, lunch. Right. They take care of the offensive line because they know that the mission, it happens in the trenches. They don't get a lot of glory, but they take care of those guys.
Right, and I know we got a minute left before we get on break, but as we said in our meeting this week, when they make mistakes, they get crushed by 300-pound guys coming from out of nowhere. So in the business world, they're completely okay with being able to take their time, work with these individuals, get the best out of them, lead them, support them, don't run them over, and realize that you need these folks to perform at a high level in order to get to accomplish.
Because that pressure ain't the pressure for them, which is we're going to roll into. But no, because it's like slow motion. It's like everything's happening in slow motion.
And the consequences aren't death. The consequences aren't injuries,
right? And
all kind of other things. So that's who you want. I mean, doesn't it make sense that I want athletes and I want military folks?
Yeah, it just makes sense. Well, so I don't get anyway. Don't get me on another. We only have what? Is it time for break? I can't go on another rant.
20 seconds. No, you can't.
All right. You just saved everyone from another. I'm passionate about this, but anyway, you're listening to the Get Warrior Tough Radio Show with Dutch and Andrew.